Welcome to Flashback, a recap of some stories that made headlines during the week. In our headline story, Shell PLC is deepening and expanding its investment in Nigeria, with the company saying it's ready to invest an additional $20 billion to energy projects in Nigeria. At a meeting held at the Presidential Villa, Chief Executive Officer of Shell PLC, Well Sawan, said that the corporation is committed to long-term investments in the country, underscoring the stable economic environment. President Tinubu approved the gazetting of targeted investments linked incentives to support the proposed Bonga Southwest Deep Offshore Oil Project by Shell and its partners. The president also directed the special advisor to the president on energy, Olu Verhien, to facilitate the gazette of the incentives in line with Nigeria's existing legal and fiscal framework.
We have really been in a space where we are very keen to invest in Nigeria, but I would say this has not always been the case. Your leadership, your vision has created an investment climate over the last few years that, I will be very honest with you, has propelled us to invest, in particular also as we compare to other investments around the world. Stability in today's environment will honestly have a premium for corporates, because we are investing not for one administration or 5 or 10 years. We want to invest for 20, 30, 40 years.
Today, I can proudly say that confidence is returning to our investment environment. Hearing from you now, I could guarantee you that when I assumed the responsibility of this office, the pledge I made to people of the country and my background is to ensure transparency, and that's what I'm doing. I like what Shell has done.
Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf, officially joined the All Progressives Congress that same Monday. Governor Yusuf made the declaration at the Coronation Hall of the Kano State Government House. The announcement was made in the presence of the former National Chairman of the APC, Abdullahi Ganduje, Deputy President of the Senate, Senator of Kano South, Minister of State for Housing and Urban Development, among other dignitaries. He noted that his return is firmly anchored with working closely with the federal government under the leadership of President Bola Tinubu.
The Governor of Kano State, Abba Yusuf Abba Gida, along with my cabinet and all the chairmen, plus the members of the House of Assembly, 22 of them out of 24, and members of the National Assembly, 9 of them out of 14. On behalf of all of them, we have taken the decision to align Kano State politically with the APC, the All People's Party Congress. Inform you that you are most welcome to our great party, the APC. You are most welcome back to your house.
On Tuesday, Nigeria and the Republic of Turkey formalized a new chapter in their diplomatic and economic relationship by signing 9 key agreements during President Bola Tinubu's state visits to Ankara. The deals covered critical sectors, including defense cooperation, trade and investment, education, media and communications, diaspora affairs, diplomacy, and social development. Speaking after the signing ceremony, President Tinubu said the agreements reflect Nigeria's commitment to a partnership that deliver tangible economic and security benefits. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan described Nigeria as a strategic partner in Africa, noting that the agreements would deepen cooperation and open new opportunities for both countries. Let's move on now. Nigeria's Vice President, Kashim Shettima, on Tuesday formally welcomed Plateau State Governor Caleb Mutfwang into the All Progressives Congress. The event, which took place in Jos, drew top party leaders and governors from across the country. In his remarks, Vice President Shettima described the move as a strategic step towards strengthening unity, inclusion and development in Plateau State and the wider North Central region. He emphasized the importance of Plateau State to the APC's national agenda, assuring of continued federal support. The federal government on Wednesday said it is set to engage retired military personnel to reclaim ungoverned spaces and strengthen national security. This was after the Minister of Defense, retired General Christopher Musa, inaugurated an 18-member committee on reclaiming ungoverned spaces for economic viability and the repositioning of the Nigerian Legion Corps of commissioners and veterans. The Minister of Defense stressed that the repositioning of the Nigerian Legion is part of a broader commitment to ensure veterans are not left behind. Retired General Musa also advocated a strategic shift from an over-reliance on military offensive to a more comprehensive, inclusive, and sustainable approach to national security. On first day of the week under review, the Senate took another step towards overhauling Nigeria's electoral laws by setting up a 7-member committee to fine-tune the proposed Electoral Act Amendment Bill 2026. The committee was tasked with collecting, harmonizing, and distilling lawmakers' views on the bills and is expected to present a consolidated report to the Senate by next Tuesday. Constitution of the committee followed more than 2 hours of deliberations on the bill's provisions during a closed-door session of the upper chamber. The committee was given just 3 days to complete its assignment ahead of next week's plenary.
The leader seeks to ensure that we begin the consideration of the Electoral Act Amendment report, which was earlier laid before us last year. Then the second leg of the motion is that we stand down all the other items to enable us to concentrate on this Electoral Act because of its sensitivity and importance to the transparency of our electoral process, which has already begun this year and will culminate in election next year. Those in support of the two motions say aye. Those against say nay. The ayes have it.
And on Friday, the Federal High Court sitting in Ibadan, Oyo State, nullified the People's Democratic Party's National Convention held on the 15th of November last year. In a ruling delivered by Justice Uche Agomo, the court declared the convention invalid and barred Kabiru Turaki and others from parading themselves as national officers of the PDP. The court further ruled that the caretaker committee led by Abdulrahman Mohammed alongside Senator Samuel Anyanwu remains the only recognized national working committee of the party. Justice Agomo stated that the committee will retain its authority pending the conduct of a valid and properly constituted national convention. Following that event, the National Acting Secretary of the People's Democratic Party, Samuel Anyanwu, described the ruling as landmark and unambiguous, saying it will reposition the party ahead of the 2027 general elections. Mr. Anyanwu called on all party stakeholders to close ranks and work together as one family in order to build a strong and viable opposition. He said the court judgment will pave the way for the party to reorganize an all-inclusive national convention.